What's up, guys? Welcome back to another video. If you're new here, my name's Jake. Please be sure to go check us out at jd-cars.com. Follow us on Instagram at jd.cars, and please be sure to subscribe for more content. Today on JD Cars, we're going to be replacing the door on my BMW F30 over here, specifically the driver rear door. Long story short, got dinged at school. Nobody left a note, of course, no cameras, and it was far cheaper, luckily, to buy a door off of eBay than paying my insurance deductible. I was actually able to pick up this door painted in the same black sapphire metallic paint. I want to say it's paint code 475, but don't take my word for it. But I was able to pick that door up for 500 bucks. It was less than my deductible, and it's already painted, ready to go. Gonna get the F30 in the garage here. Gotta pull my dad's 550 out. Fortunately, the carpenters have been using the garage. My dad's car has been outside under the trees. Didn't fare too well because got some bird shit on it. I'm gonna have him wash that off, or maybe I'll just do him a solid and wash his car today. So we have the new door over here, as I said, from eBay. Somebody has a whole bunch of eBay packaging tape, but surprisingly this thing is really not that heavy at all. That does mean we're gonna have a bit of work. It's just the empty shell, so we're gonna have to, remove the window regulator, all that good stuff. But yeah, let's get started on tearing this down. Okay, first things first, let's remove the door panel from the door here. Starting by popping off our door handle trim here. Pop that right off, set it aside, and that will expose. I believe it's a T25 here that exposes. We have one up at the top and one right in the middle. Once we removed those two screws, we can then take our plastic pry tool, pop off the bottom of the door, and just slowly work your way around. Now once we've got the door panel off, we can disconnect all of our electrical connections here. My door handle cable decided to disconnect on its own, but I'm just going to pop it back in for demonstration purposes. You're supposed to disconnect it at the door here. You just pull down on this little cable sleeve, release the cable, and unhook it like so. And then lastly, our window control switch here is kind of a nuisance to unplug. What you'll want to do is stick your pry tool in and pop it out. Okay, there we go. Stick your pry tool in, pop the button out from the back to prevent damaging it. Pull the button through and disconnect it right here, just like so. And then our door panel is free from the car. Oh, forgot my little entry light here. Okay, door panel is now free from the car. And now, as much as it pains me to do this, we have to pull back the foam here. And if you guys have ever opened up a BMW door before, you know this black silicone adhesive material that they use is pretty nasty stuff. It can be helpful to apply some heat if you're working in low temperatures, but I'm not having too much trouble just pulling it off here. Okay, and now with that out of the way, we've exposed all of the inner components of the door here. We're gonna have to strip it down, take out our regulator, our glass, our speaker, our locking mechanism over here, and I believe that's it. Now I'm going to start just by unplugging all of our wiring harnesses here. These are all going to be, pretty standard quick release connectors with two tabs on each end. There we go. That was a little tough to get my fingers in there. One quick release tab on the regulator, and then you can use this end of your pry tool to pop all these little rivet holders that hold the wire in place. You can pop them up with this end. Alright, since we've already got our Torx set over here, we're going to use a T30 Torx to remove the locking mechanism. As you can see, there's 2 more T30 Torx over on the outside of the door. There's going to be a little adhesive there, so just press it firmly and it should release. Now I'm just realizing when I'm trying to remove the locking mechanism, we might have to remove the door handle first because it looks like it might interfere with removing the lock here. So to remove our door handle, we have this little plastic rubber cap here just next to the door handle, and removing that cap will expose a little hex fastener. This little hex fastener is a 4mm, but you're not going to be able to get this style bit in there because of how slim this hole is. So honestly, as funny as it seems, I'm just going to use my little Allen set here. I'm going to put the camera down and be careful not to drop it. Not the end of the world though, just go down to the bottom of the door here. Removing that fastener should allow you to remove this little piece here. It's kind of funny. And then you can remove the actual door handle itself. Just pull it out and around like so. I'm gonna put these inside the car. Don't want them getting scratched up. And we'll probably want to pull out our light just to protect it. The real question is, does the new door have all these little bits and pieces? And I'm gonna guess probably not. So I'm just gonna pull them off while I'm here. Now, I don't want to make more work for myself or for the next person that potentially uses this door. So I'm gonna open up the new door from eBay here and we'll see what comes on the door, if anything at all. Alright guys, I just got the new door out of the packaging here about 10 minutes ago. I'm not gonna lie, I just freaked the f*** out. And let me tell you why. So obviously just came in a box with bubble wrap. This bottom corner right here was severely bent in. I'll overlay a picture here if I can find it on my phone. But yeah, it was severely bent in. I freaked out, I was very unhappy. I mean, I didn't really freak out, but grabbed my rubber mallet here and I actually just pounded this edge right here. And as you can see, it's not perfect. There's a little bit of creasing right there, but looking down the line of the door, it's straight enough for my liking. It's definitely not perfect, not good as new, not what I paid for, but I guess it'll have to do. It's acceptable, I suppose. It's on the bottom edge of the door. Probably won't notice it that much, but I'm gonna try to get a partial refund on that because I'm pretty bummed out. But anyways, opening up the door here answers our question. We have nothing on the outside, nothing on the inside. Only thing I don't have to take off is the plastic trim around the edge, so that's kind of nice. The weather stripping, that's nice that that's on there, and a couple metal clips here. But other than that, the door is entirely stripped. So let's go strip down the existing door and we'll get this one installed and reinstall all of the components. We've got a little T20 fastener on the outside of the door right here. There goes that entire assembly, the door handle assembly and the lock assembly with the removal of this one T20 screw. So definitely be aware that your assemblies are gonna drop down once you remove that T20. I don't know how they do this, it's crazy. Props to the guys who assemble these cars, man. And for that matter, the guys who designed them too. Okay, there we are. Locking mechanism and door handle mechanism. Pretty interesting seeing all this stuff up close. You can kind of see how all this stuff works. We got that out. It is electrically connected here. I suppose I can disconnect that to simplify things. And I probably should. As you can see right here, we've got another one of these little rivet connectors. Don't think I actually have to break it off though, just break the tape here. Oh, just realized, I wonder if I want my window up or down. I'm gonna think about this for a second. Probably gonna want my window down. So I'm gonna grab my window switch from the car here, plug in my window switch, and we're gonna roll down the window all the way. I'll just use a little screwdriver to press it on that. And while I did so, I pulled up on the glass, and as you can see, our glass is now detached from the regulator. I'm just gonna leave it in that position there. Can shut off the car now and just figure out how to get this glass out. Now, I'm fairly certain before we can remove the glass, we actually have to remove the regulator here first to make room and to allow the glass to move fully. So that's gonna entail removing three, I believe it's 10 millimeter. Yep, three 10 millimeter nuts right here. While we're here, let's use a T20 Torx and we'll remove the main speaker. Alright, was just checking out the situation here after removing the regulator, and I found the key to the puzzle. As you can see, the window rail here actually has a little Torx fastener. It looks like a T20, if not a T25. Access it right through this hole right here. So I assume once we remove that, we can then remove our window glass. It's a T20. There must be another. Aha! Yep. There are two more behind this plastic trim right here. I don't know if you guys just saw that. I don't know if I had my angle set up properly, but I just removed this plastic trim, which has the optional sunshade. And we have two more of these little T20 screws. I'm gonna lower my glass down, just make sure that it doesn't slam down. Okay, see what happens here. Oh, okay, this piece actually wants to slide down, so I'm gonna pull it down from in here. This thing is a pain in the ass. Alright, I've fully pulled out this kind of window guide bar from the outside of the car. A little bit upset, you know. This one's a nice glossy black. New one's not so glossy, but maybe I'll just switch them out. But anyways, with that removed, I believe we can now remove the window glass. Yep, there we go. Boom, got the window glass out, and yeah, I'm gonna carefully set this aside somewhere that's not gonna get broken, and we'll continue. All right, we got everything removed from the door here. We're about to unbolt it from the car. And something I want to show you quickly before we do so, I want to show you how to disconnect the electrical connections right here. As you can see, I popped off my boot, but that doesn't really matter. I love these style connectors BMW uses. Basically, you're just going to pull up on this top bit right here. And as you can see, pulling that all the way up actually releases the entire electrical connection right here. So, boom. We're disconnected from the car and we're ready to go. Now on the door hinges where we're disconnecting the door, there's the bottom hinge. They both use a 13 millimeter bolt, but to give ourselves a little bit more access to get in this little crevice, I'm gonna remove the door, I guess you can call it stopper or limiter. Just grabbed myself an E10 female Torx socket, gonna remove that. But we have to be super careful after removing that because the door can then make contact with the unibody and can cause damage to both. So I'm gonna slip, well, first and foremost, I'm gonna open up the front door and I'm now gonna slip a microfiber in between the door and the car just to make sure we don't cause any damage. All right, so removing the limiter gave us a little bit more clearance to get in here. Now I'm gonna use this ratcheting wrench and, well, guess it doesn't really have that far to go. It looks like this is just going to be a bolt retaining a pin that actually acts as the hinge. Yes, similar to a Jeep Wrangler, funny enough, but as you can see, there's an actual pin going through the hinge, so this doesn't actually retain the weight. It just secures the door from popping up and out. So we don't have to worry about supporting the door at this point. Oh, I'll set this in the car so we don't lose it. But we're going to remove the bottom bolt. Get that tucked up out of the way. Let's remove the bottom bolt, which is actually located on the top. of the hinge here, and is proving to be much more difficult because I can't get my ratchet over it. Maybe we'll try a socket. Yeah, socket gets on there. I don't think my ratchet will get in there though. I'm gonna have to find a smaller socket. Got the job done with a little wobble socket here. These things save the day all the time. So I'm gonna pull that pin out and we're gonna pull the door off. Here we go. Oh. All right, door is off the BMW. What's up guys? I just got back from filming the, headlights are still on because I took off my driver's door so it doesn't know that I got out. Turn off the parking lights there. So I just got back from driving the car with no driver's doors just for fun. I made a video out of that, and definitely be on the lookout if you're interested in that. But I'm gonna toss the driver's door back on. I'm also going to install the new driver rear door, and then we'll get started with reinstalling all of the door components. Alright guys, we have both doors back on the car here. Both of them are bolted on. We have the new door in place here. We now have to take the old wiring harness from our old door, and we have to feed this end right on through that hole there. Or actually, I misspoke there. We have to take all of these ends and feed them through that hole, and then make sure this makes a nice watertight seal. Plug this back into the car, and then of course all of these connect to one of the many components in the door. And honestly, I feel like if you guys have made it this far, you probably know how to reinstall all of this stuff. So I'm not going to touch on, all the fasteners one by one, but I will touch on each component as we go, just to check in with you guys and let you know how it's going. Alright, after fussing with the glass for what feels like forever now, finally figured out the correct order in which to do this, the rubber seal, and this little retaining strip right here. And first and foremost, you want to have everything out of the door when you go to install the glass here, including this rubber strip right here. You want to pull that out and let it dangle out of the way, have this metal bar out of the way, and you're going to want to keep it as straight as possible. Get it into this track first, leave this corner out, get this corner in, and then you'll finesse it into place eventually. And then you'll want to slide your rubber seal down on through. Don't bring this into the equation yet. Get the rubber seal all the way down first, and then slip your metal rod up there in between the rubber, actually in between the glass, rubber, and more rubber, and then you'll slide that up, and that's a lot easier to do. I think that's the best order to do it in. So I'm gonna get that buttoned up, and then we'll get our regulator installed. Actually, wait, no. We're gonna get our door handle installed because that's kind of the priority here. All right, a little bit of an update here. I reinstalled the locking mechanism with our 3 T30 screws right here. Got that locked in place because, actually, let me rewind here. I first inserted our locking mechanism and door handle at the same time, with the door handle up above it, of course. Got this locked in place. And then I came around to the outside and I reinstalled our little T20 screw right here, holding in the door handle. And now I'm about to reinstall the door handle itself, along with this little screw right here, which, remember, we accessed through this hole right here. Okay, locking mechanism and door handle are all wrapped up. Pop the speaker back in there, and now I'm gonna reinstall the window regulator. Once you've reinstalled the regulator with the 3 10mm nuts here, you slide the window glass down and it will pop right into this white bracket right here. You should hear it click into place. Okay, we're starting to wrap things up here. One quick note I want to make, if you have a little panic and realize, oh my god, why do I only have one blue connection for my speaker now? Well, the one that's actually in this harness goes to the bottom, and then that top port is actually for the tweeter, which is housed in the door panel. So at this point we're ready to reinstall the interior door panel. I do need to toss on my little sunshade and one little piece of trim here, but regardless, I'm going to do that really quick, and then we'll grab the door panel and reinstall it. Also, quick note, as you can see, I've reinstalled my little styrofoam installation here, and I know at the beginning of this project you're going to be tempted to just rip this off and tear it up and destroy it, and that's what the previous door mechanic did. They just ripped it off and that was unusable. However, as you can see, I carefully peeled mine off, and this adhesive is just, it's so strong and sticky that you can reuse it 1,000 times. What's up, guys? I'm editing the door replacement video right now, or at least I'm beginning to, and I needed to come out here to the garage to show you guys this little update. As you can see, I don't know if you can, but it's raining right now, and I developed a leak in the F30. I wanted to tell you guys about troubleshooting that and figuring it out. So here we are in the garage, got the F30 with the door tore down here. By this point, you're all familiar with the process of removing the door panel to access the inside of the door. But anyways, I replaced the door on a pretty sunny day. Replaced the door, it didn't have rain for about 2 or 3 days. It rained 3 days later, and I had a huge puddle of water sitting in the rear footwell here. Obviously was not happy about that, and I made the connection. It was pretty obvious that the new door replacement led to that leak. So I was pretty confused as to why, you know, the seals on this door look good. They don't look to be, you know, deteriorating whatsoever. The adhesive is good, and the seal on the car hasn't changed. So if the seal on the car hasn't changed and the previous door didn't allow water in, then why would it allow water in with this same seal as previously? So it didn't really make sense to me. I went online, I looked at this seal as well as the seal for the door. Over $200. I think it was like $250 to get the two new seals. And I was like, wait a second, I'm not even sure that this is the problem yet. I'm not going to spend $200 on rubber seals if I don't know if that's going to solve the problem. And it looked pretty peculiar to me, because when I checked the car after it was in the rain, and you can actually still see a little bit right here, the water, it looks like it was just dropping into the inside of the car onto this piece right here. It didn't look like it had actually gotten past the seal, and you can see some water sitting in the seal right there. So that really didn't make sense to me. I thought about it longer, I did some researching online, and some people, which I had previously just known this as, you know, sound insulation, as described on BMW's part list, but it's actually called but I actually learned a lot of people call it a vapor barrier, and for very good reason. The water is actually coming from inside of here. You can see the watermarks right here where it was dripping down. The water was dripping down off of this little piece of weather stripping. Apparently, this is part of the window guide when it comes down. Apparently, there is water coming in to the door here and working its way past this seal right here. You know, previously when your car comes from the factory, this is all sealed up, and until somebody opens it, it's not going to allow any water by. But the more I thought about it and the more I looked at the door, it makes a lot of sense. There's actually a drain hole right here at the back of the door, and a very sizable drain hole up at the front of the door right here. Oh, right here. So clearly the door has been designed to allow water to pass through. And then for my previous knowledge, I thought back and I was like, wait a second, the window regulator has a rubber seal in the connector. So why would they do that if this was, you know, an airtight space where water wasn't going to get in? It's because water gets in here. This is also sealed up. right here, so they didn't have to worry about water there. And then all the electronics on the back side of the door panel, including the speaker, maybe not the back side of it, but all of this wiring is protected by this vapor barrier right here. So that made perfect sense to me after I thought about it, and I looked it up, found a great video on the topic, and you can get this really sticky tape material. If you've pulled off your door vapor barrier, then you're going to know what I'm talking about. That black, really thick, tarry tape. You can actually buy it for like 25 bucks on eBay for a whole roll of it. So I'm going to purchase myself a new roll. I might get myself a new barrier as well, just to make sure and have the peace of mind. Otherwise, I'll just clean this off really well and install new tape on it. But yeah, I'm very confident that doing so is going to resolve my problem of the leakage. But I'll keep you guys updated, of course. I just want to add in this quick detail really quickly before throwing this video up, because in the past I haven't really resealed the whole vapor barrier when opening up my doors, but apparently it has proven to be a problem here, so I'm going to do it. I'm going to see how this works out, and I'll keep you guys updated as always. So I'll just resume wherever I left off in the video right now. And yeah, so don't just rip it off at the beginning of the project. Take your time, and you'll be able to reuse it at the end and keep everything nice and tight and quiet and warm. Okay, once we've got our interior door panel on, just have to install these two T20 screws and reinstall our door handle trim. And that completes the replacement of a BMW F30 door. As you can see, installed. Body lines are looking very nice. And yeah, even despite that little damage down there, bet you guys can probably see it. Yep, just a little bit. Not the end of the world. I'm not, not pulling my hair out over it. At least I don't have the dents in the middle of the door. And yeah, just had to double check the electrical connection on that window. Got it up, and yeah, I'm honestly really happy with how this went. My 2 words of advice would be really gentle with that connection that does all of the connections to the door. It's pretty fragile. I cracked mine. I'm ordering a new one. And just take your time. Try to be patient with things. I know this can be very frustrating. It's not that difficult a job. It's just it can be really time consuming and can try your patience a lot. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you found it helpful. If you did, please go smash that like button. Sorry to wrap things up quickly here. I have to run inside. But I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you haven't done so already, please subscribe for more BMW content. And I'll see you guys next time on JD Cars.